And here we are, in case you're just tuning in. My name's Caleb Durward.
I'm Frank Lepore.
At the TCG Championship, Max Point Championship for $50,000. On the left we have Ben Wienburg. On the right we have Aaron Wilburn.
Burn and Berg.
Wienburg opening out with an island out of a very aggressive mono blue deck. The one that Sam Black constructed and piloted to a top 8.
Island might be my favorite basic land type.
It's a pretty good one.
It's powerful.
I can't knock you for it.
It can
Tidebinder Mage comes down.
It casts a lot of my favorite
text,
spells.
2 mana, 2/2.
No text.
Good enough. Something interesting about this deck, if you've never played against it or played with it before, is the Pongify in it, the rapid hybridization, actually makes a green creature token.
Correct.
So Tidebinder Mage can randomly get value.
Yeah, you can give them a green guy and then tap it down forever until they kill it.
Tidebinder serves for damage. Now, an early pack rat.
How do you feel with this pack rat?
I think it's one of the best ways for the the Black Devotion deck to race.
I agree, only because the blue deck is often playing one creature a turn. It has a very solid curve. Like it plays like 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop. 4 drop is Master Wave, so that's actually going to give you more. But the black deck can just make a pack rat every turn.
Right.
And theoretically, you can just block all their elemental tokens.
No, you're not really blocking. You're trying to pressure the opponent because you don't have inevitability. Eventually, they'll like we see a Thassa in play.
Yeah, and here he goes. Aaron's just starting off with pack rats.
Yeah, he wants to get in damage.
To you. Look at that nice rat token.
Rats off to you.
Rats off to you, my good man.
Rats on rats on rats on rats.
Let's take it easy. Let's
cool it down a notch. And the other thing is mono blues creatures. Like it seems like as the Black Devotion deck, you want to be on the defensive. You want to be playing your removal spells. But if you're using like a 3 mana removal spell on a 2 mana creature, you can't do that every turn because, as we just saw, Ben Wienburg just played multiple threats.
Right, exactly. And Thassa's now online. So the question is, like, do you block Tidebinder Mage and try to stifle his devotion, or do you just take 7?
I could see that being reasonable if you had like.
Yeah, I think.
Yep, that's what's happening.
Yep.
It really depends on Aaron Wilburn's hand at this point.
Yeah, right. We don't know.
If he has more removal, trying to keep him off devotion makes more sense.
Because getting rid of that Nightveil Spectre seems pretty crucial right now.
But like right now, Pack Rat, like he could be attacking Ben for 6 here, but instead he's just not.
But then doesn't he just he almost dies on the crackback? He would have taken 7, which would have put him to 7, 8, 9. So he would have been he's at 11 now. What? That doesn't seem right. Is that right?
He is at 11. I think.
He took 5 last turn, and then he took 2.
Definitely took 2 from the Tidebinder.
Did he take 2 from his land as well? I think he took 2 from his
land.
Probably.
That's what we're missing.
So he's at 11 now. If he didn't block, he would be at 9. And then if he did attack for 6, he'd have 1 blocker. He'd block the Thassa, or it could be unblockable.
Would take so he would take 8.
He could theoretically take 4 in the air,
if the Raptor
which would
evolved,
he'd be dead.
Yep, that's fair.
I mean, you got to be a little more conservative. I think,
the die roll is very important in this matchup because of that. Like if Aaron Wilburn had been on the play, gone turn 2 pack rat on the play, he would have just been able to race pretty much any Ben Wienburg draw you can imagine.
But that's just so huge. Like just being a 5/5 that's indestructible is just so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
You just knock that die out of the park there. Oh, there's Master. Yep, and Raptor evolves. So yeah, he would have taken 9 this turn.
It's interesting. Doesn't he already have?
He could have blocked
I guess
with
this
a rat.
I guess this is fine,
but it's a lot of tokens.
It's a lot of tokens, 3, 4, and one of them is going to be tapping down that Desecration Demon.
Yep. And does he just win here? 5, 6, 7.
He doesn't just
8,
win,
9.
but
now
it's a lot of damage.
Aaron goes to 2,
assuming he doesn't jump.
Yeah, okay, he does have the
which
rat.
he's doing so. It's going to go to 7.
He's going to 7 instead.
He's essentially dead. I don't think there's a combination of plays Aaron can make at this point.
Yeah, especially with the unblockability of Thassa. Like, that's just actually...
And even if he did, by some miracle, deal with the bulk of Ben Wienburg's board state, there's still a Mutavault over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, like, even if by some grace of God there was a Mutilate and he had 5 Swamps out, Ben could just activate Mutavault and 2 you. But there's no Mutavault. Or
there is no Mutilate.
Mutavault.
Ultimate price, not too shabby.
I don't think it's going to be relevant in this game.
Probably not, no.
Yeah, and you can see, like, in this situation, Desecration Demon just becomes a liability against the mono blue deck.
It's a liability against a lot of decks.
Yeah.
All these decks that want to swarm the board and just have extra guys, they're like, yeah, play my summoning 6 guys.
And the thing people are starting to realize is that swarming
damage.
the board is actually a very safe strategy because there's so few sweepers.
Mm-hmm.
So long, tokens.
Playing that as a sorcery speed to prevent Wienburg from doing shenanigans.
I mean, he just sacks the Raptor attacks for... Only has to play another guy to keep Thassa, actually.
Yep.
But he has unblockability,
right,
so he just makes 2 dudes unblockable.
Unblockable. However,
he took
Aaron
2
Wilburn
from the...
shocked himself to represent some removal spell. Probably Abrupt Decay.
That would be nice.
Getting rid of that.
Yeah, getting rid of that Night Veil Spectre seems extremely relevant.
But that doesn't really save him. I think Wienburg has quite the inevitability here, just with Thassa and unblockability.
Yeah, especially with Ben sitting at a healthy 18 life. Like, he just has so much time.
Yeah.
Ben,
there's no
Ben
way
just has to sit himself. I can find 2 turns to attack you with one guy.
I don't even see like a string of Grey Merchants getting there for Aaron Wilburn at this point.
He could activate Mutavault and then just Alpha. And by sack the Mutavault.
No. Aaron Wilburn is representing an Abrupt Decay, which is going to eat the Night Veil Spectre, and then the Thassa will no longer have Devotion.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's only 4 damage.
Or it could just be bluffing.
Or 2 damage if you end up sacrificing the Mutavault. Yeah. What the line that I actually like here is giving the Cloudfin Raptor and Mutavault unblockable, and just tapping those sideways, just 4ing him.
Yeah, that seems fine.
Kill him next turn.
Oh, he just makes all 3 unblockable.
That's fine too.
And he's like, hold on. And he does have the Abrupt Decay.
Yeah.
So he takes 2.
So in my line, for him to prevent damage, he would be Abrupt Decaying the Cloudfin Raptor instead of the Night Veil Spectre, which means that Ben Wienburg would have a Night Veil Spectre, and he would have that to be attacking next turn.
How do you mean?
If he just makes the Cloudfin Raptor and the Mutavault unblockable and serves for 4,
right.
Then if he doesn't want to take 2 damage, he has to Abrupt Decay the Cloudfin Raptor.
Kill one of the worst creatures.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can get behind that. And
there's Grey Merchant for 4.
Yep, that puts him back up to 7. Surprisingly not dead yet.
That Scry is so good for keeping Thassa,
really good.
The Thassa Devotion count up.
The thing I don't understand is Thassa is the most reasonably costed god.
Yeah.
But also, it has the best ability, like the best static ability.
When I was picking cards to do spoiler spotlights, we do those on Channel Fireball, where like the individual writers can like shotgun a specific card that was spoiled and be like, I want to do a spotlight on it. It's like 2/3 of an article. They're fun. They're a lot of fun. And I saw Thassa and I was like, this one, I will write about this.
Claim.
And one of the decks I talked about was a mono blue deck. I mean, Master of Waves hadn't been spoiled, so it wasn't like exactly the Pro Tour list, but
you had your finger on the pulse.
Right, yeah.
Does the mono black deck have any way to deal with the Thassa in its main deck?
No.
I didn't think
Sometimes they have Liliana, but it's kind of rare.
Oh, yeah.
Usually you have to pressure the opponent so that you don't just die.
Liliana of the Veil? That's not even legal. Yeah, you gotta feel the pressure if you're Aaron Wilburn here. Like, there's 3 dudes that you actually have to deal with, otherwise they get unblockable.
Well, Wienburg needs 1 more land to make the Mutavault unblockable.
Not in total. Like, they don't all have to be unblockable. He can just make 2 guys unblockable, and Aaron's forced to have 2 answers.
But if he gets that land, he'll have 3.
Right. At that point, it seems...
Oh, it looks like Wienburg is actually sacrificing the Mutavault to keep the Desecration Demon tapped because he doesn't want to just die. Wienburg's actually at 7 here.
Yeah, the Grey Merchant really put Aaron back in the game.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's still over, but I mean, it
a second Grey Merchant here,
though. It gave the illusion of being back in the game.
I don't see one in his hand.
That'd be pretty good for Aaron, actually. Is he going to attack with the Grey Merchant? That seems like an interesting play.
It doesn't really make sense.
Like, you're definitely not getting through that Frostburn weird, right? Like, it just blocks.
Yeah, there's no reason for Wienburg not to block.
But where it forces, by not attacking, it forces Ben to actually make
Maybe Wilburn's hand is Hero's Downfall, Abrupt Decay, and he's just going to clear the board
really
anyway.
Good if he had that. But, I mean, just do it first, right? Like, get rid of his things. Yep, there's Hero's Downfall.
You can declare attackers, and then
do it after. Yeah, before blockers are declared. Yeah, of course.
So Wienburg's best draw here is probably Nightveil Spectre, because that's the only card that turns on Thassa at this point and gives him 2 attackers.
I'm not sure Ben Wilburn's actually out of this game.
Huh?
I'm not sure Ben's out of this game if he has an Abrupt Decay.
Right, yeah.
He's still way in it if his hand has Abrupt Decay in it. Even if it has a Doomblade, he's still in it. Like,
oh, I suppose Nightveil Spectre doesn't really do it if Wilburn does have the removal spell.
Because then he just kills the Cloudfin Raptor.
Right, right. Yeah, he's got to attack.
Oh, if he
does Wilburn have it? He
does
not.
Man, like.
Yeah, I thought I saw his hand earlier.
Yeah, it looked like
it was
like
Underworld Connection and Swamp, but
yeah.
he had to like pull some crazy bluff. Like maybe he'll just, I don't know, not kill me.
Yeah, I was like, does he have it? What's going on?
Interesting stuff. So Aaron Wilburn here is probably going to be bringing in. Ooh, he's got an Abhorrent Overlord in his sideboard. Pretty sweet card.
I actually lost against that the other day, but
oh, we should talk about these TCGPLayer championships.
As far as state championships go, in 2014 we have 3 coming up. In spring we have the limited state championships, which is going to be Theros and Born of the Gods. So you can be your limited state champ in your state. For the summer we have modern state championships. You can be the modern state champ and play some modern. And in the fall we have the standard state championships. This is the traditional state championship. States are usually standard. And you can be the standard state champ and play with the latest set because it's going to be right after the rotation or the new set enters. So make sure you get out there and claim your state title.
Looks fun. I'm really digging these multiple formats, Frank.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about yesterday. It's nice to have a set format or a set tournament. Like, man, I don't like PTQs that much. I don't like Grand Prix. They're too far. So I'm just going to go to states. It's a guaranteed modern tournament or a limited tournament that's going to have a decent turnout.
They also have a way different feel than a hyper-competitive event.
They do,
like
yeah.
a Pro Tour
They're usually more casual,
or a Grand Prix, or what have you.
It's a more relaxed environment.
Right, yeah.
So.
But yeah, I was talking about Aaron Wilburn's sideboard. I mentioned Abhorrent Overlord because it's sweet with Whip, and I like the card a lot.
Yeah.
But he's definitely not bringing it in this matchup. There is a Gaze of Granite that's probably coming in. I've seen people bring in Dark Betrayal just because Nightveil Spectre is a very difficult card to answer otherwise.
Right, and
but it's the only card it kills in the deck.
Yeah.
These Golgari Charms are probably coming in. Definitely bringing in both Doomblades.
Yeah, Doomblade
definitely bringing
everything.
in both Skylasher. That's probably it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards coming in for him. He's probably shaving his Underworld Connections and maybe Desecration Demon. And then Ben Wienburg. Oh, he actually has a Nykthos in his sideboard. That's interesting. Yeah, he's got some Jaces. He's got some Bidents. He has Dissolve, Negate, Domestication. These are all options that can come in. I've been particularly impressed with Domestication in the matchup. Because when you take a Grey Merchant from your opponent, you're denying him a blocker, and then you're also denying him Devotion to Black.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Domestication says at the end of your turn you have to sacrifice it. So you can actually just take a Desecration Demon and sag it to the other Desecration Demon to tap it.
Yeah.
Because you don't actually lose the Domestication until the end of turn trigger. So you can take creatures with power more than 3.
Yeah, and then it's just basically gets them out of the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Too bad they don't have haste. Then you can just attack them that turn, and then
you can take a creature with haste.
It's like an Act of Treason.
A blue Act of Treason
for 1 turn. Yeah.
They
Ray of
Command.
Ray of Command, if you will. Yeah. Same cost, except for 1 less blue.
That was the blue Act of Treason, but it was instant speed. So you could do it mid-combat.
Yeah.
I remember playing that at casual tables.
And then I remember
oh, you're attacking me, huh? Well, I'll take this other guy's creature and
every limited format that ever had Ray of Command, and it was like, well, this card's first pick.
Definitely. I drafted that in Cube. That was like a common or an uncommon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was never a rare, I don't think.
So like in a commons and uncommons cube, it'd probably be pretty busted.
Probably pretty good.
I like commons and uncommons cube a lot.
I do too, actually.
It's one of my favorite formats.
It still has powerful cards, but it's very balanced.
And there's a lot of 2-for-1s.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So if you like blowing people out and value grinding,
I started to try to put together a commons and uncommons, like the best limited commons and uncommons. You know?
Okay, sure.
Like Ribbons of Night, Lightning Helix, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
All good cards.
That's my kind of Magic.
Yeah, I agree.
Ribbon's a Knight. That's like 4 damage to a creature, draw a card if you pay blue.
Yeah.
Right? Oh,
yeah.
man.
It's 4
That card
damage,
was
and
sexy.
you gain 4 life.
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
I didn't even remember that part. 4 life is actually a thing in Limited.
4 life is definitely a thing in Limited. I wish it was an instant, though. There's so many cards that are sorceries that I wish were instants.
Games turn into races way more often in Limited than they do in Constructed. Although, again, that depends on what deck you're playing. For example, the mono blue deck that Ben Wienburg is piloting falls into a race situation quite often, as we saw in that last game.
Oh, yeah, and definitely. Like, there were several cards Aaron could have drawn to just put himself back in that game. And, like, that's the thing about the devotion cards. They literally put you 1 turn away from winning. You're like, you think you're out of the game. You're at, I'm at 18, and then like, oh, now I'm at 7. What just happened? I got hit with 1 Desecration Demon, and you played 1 Gray Merchant, and I just took 13 damage.
Sure.
So.
The 4 + 6 is 10 damage. Maybe if there's other, like, Devotion to Black cards, it could be 13. Looks like these players have finished sideboarding. Ben Wienburg presents. Sorry if my voice is a little scratchy. Whoa. What's going on?
So I think Ben's keeping.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like Ben's keeping his hand.
Looks like we had 2 heroes downfalls.
Yeah, and a gold card in the center.
Yeah.
I think that's an Abrupt Decay.
And like a Gray Merchant.
And then a Gray Merchant and a Whip. That's probably not enough land.
I think he agrees.
Yeah.
Unless he's just drawing extra cards, but that's weird. Don't do that.
Ben Wienburg keeps. Aaron Wilburn ships. Who do you think is on the advantage for this game, too?
Being that Aaron's on the play, I would probably say Aaron this game. It also feels like the black deck has a lot more versatile answers than the blue deck as far as sideboarding. Like, you're just bringing in more removal and more cards that are better against blue. Whereas, like, I don't see the blue, especially because of the green. Like Golgari Charms and Skylashers.
Skylasher is amazing.
But typically,
you ever have a Skylasher and a Whip Out at the same time?
No, that's pretty good, though. It's like a tiny Vampire Nighthawk.
Yeah.
But since typically blue and black are good friends, they don't have a lot of hate for one another. So that's where the green really comes in, because green hates both blue and black. So if you bring in green, you actually get a formidable weapon against the blue decks that black wouldn't ordinarily have access to.
Green doesn't hate black.
Yeah,
they're allies.
No, they're not.
They're certainly allies.
Green and black?
Yeah, right?
Those are enemy colors, good sir.
Okay, what are green's 2 allies? There's red.
And white.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, man. I'm going to pretend this didn't just happen.
You can tell how much attention I pay to flavor.
You thought green's allies were red and black. You're like, I thought Jund was its natural habitat.
Yeah. I like Jund. Jund's sweet.
Reed Duke likes Jund.
Oh, yeah, that man loves Jund.
He's
he also
had some
likes
success with it.
Rug and Legacy.
Rug?
We've played multiple Rug mirrors, but we've never been like playing the actual, like, typical Rug mirror.
Yeah.
Like, usually I'm playing some Rug Brew and he's playing some Rug Brew, just something that, like, you just don't see in Legacy very often. He was natural ordering for Progenitus, like, way after anyone else was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's happening with the feed here, but looks like people are shuffling some cards anyway.
I like shuffling some cards.
It looks like Wienburg did eventually decide to take a mulligan.
So they're even. They're going both on 6. A level playing field, if you will.
They are not lonely in their trip to Paris.
No. They went together.
Oh, man. I guess Wilburn's hand is better. I see a land, a swamp, and a temple.
Lands, actually.
So he could play this Night Veil on 3 and just have it carry the game.
That's a pretty good dude. Yeah, and that's the thing against the mono blue deck. The mono blue deck doesn't have that many answers for a Night Veil Spectre.
But it has a better chance of racing a Night Veil than the black deck does.
But especially with the Temple of Mystery, like he can actually
Thoughtseize.
Aaron can actually cast some of the blue spells that he picks up.
I love Thoughtseize.
You're not even listening to me right now.
I'm not.
Well, this isn't even friendship.
Judge's Familiar, double Tidebinder.
Oh man. You just take a Tidebinder, right?
I don't know. Like double Judge's Familiar might make Aaron's later turns
maybe, but
really
if he
frustrating.
sacrifices 2 creatures for like to counter 1 spell, like it's still a 2-for-1, right? Plus, that means that leaves Ben with 1 Tidebinder Mage.
This is true.
I mean,
could also leave him with 1 Judge's Familiar.
Well, no, but if he's, I mean, playing around 1 Judge's Familiar is fine. I thought we were taking the second one so that he doesn't have 2, that he can't Force Spike twice for 1 spell.
I don't even know what you're saying anymore.
I know. It's early.
Judge's Familiar, going into the red zone. Aaron Wilburn untaps, plays his land.
There
Bam.
it is.
Night Veil Spectre.
Yeah, and as I was saying, if the Night Veil Spectre hits Ben, he can actually start casting some of the blue spells with the Temple of Mystery.
Right. That's one of the benefits to playing that card.
I agree.
Gives him 2 different colors.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this yesterday, but I was playing Prism in this deck, so that Mutavault could tap to play Night Veil Spectre on turn 3, and then you had an early game cantrip, and then you also had whatever mana your opponent was playing for the Night Veil Spectre. The only problem with Prism is that the slots in the deck are so very tight.
Yeah, that's true.
So like you're cutting
every card is relevant,
and
it's hard to find a few spaces that you just don't need.
Now if Prism costs double black, oh my god.
Oh wow, that's disgusting. And it still draws you a card.
Yeah, why not?
Oh wow, that's I don't even want to think about it. Maybe they just reprint Prism in Born of the Gods.
It's not really a black ability filtering for mana.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that Night Veil Spectre can't even serve. He'll take way too much damage on the crackback.
Man, Ben is just like, this is some devotion right here.
Right. Next turn, Ben can attack and like lose a guy, but still get a card off of Night Veil Spectre.
The 2/3 is just like 2/3 is. Ugh. If it was a 3/3, then we'd be talking. But 2/3 actually they just bounce. They don't even actually.
Right. So Aaron Wilburn's better off like eating a random attacker.
But we still know that Aaron has 2 Heroes Devotions or Heroes Downfalls in hand.
Correct.
Heroes Devotion.
But that means like he's not drawing cards with Underworld Connections. Underworld Connections is actually pretty awkward in this matchup.
Yeah, because it's Ben's deck is so aggressive that like you might not even have time to cast those extra cards you're drawing,
or even time to draw the cards.
Right.
Like as we're going to see here,
he's going to have to tap out to kill something. Did he just rapid hybridization that Night Veil Spectre?
With a whole field of flyers. That's insane. So you have this 3/3 now, and I'm attacking you for a lot.
Wow, when we first started and we saw Ben's
and Aaron Wilburn can't even play the Hero's Downfall because Ben Wienburg could just sack the Judge's Familiar. Yeah.
Oh, an Abrupt Decay that was amazing.
That one's pretty good.
That was a pretty good top deck from Aaron.
One of the advantages to the Green Splash is that you can just kill a Night Veil Spectre. The Mono Black Devotions lists can't do that. They have no cards.
And that's
just
like, go ahead, sacrifice that
kill
Judge's
that.
Familiar. Try it, go ahead. See what happens. Spoiler alert, nothing would happen.
Aaron contemplating these cards.
I think he's wondering if he just kills Cloudfin Raptor now, maybe.
He's deciding whether to play the Demon or play some removal.
Oh, yes. And maybe even he might even be considering drawing a card to see if he can get a land.
No, he's just jamming Demon.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
You don't want to take that kind of a gamble when if you brick, you're just dead.
Especially when you're at 12.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this play.
Seems fine. I mean, he can sack a Judge's Familiar, but like once he starts losing his creatures, then Aaron's removal can do the rest of the work.
Mm-hmm. Now, Wienburg only has 3 lands in play.
Yeah.
And some of his best cards in this matchup cost 4 mana. Yeah.
But to be fair, I mean, Master of Waves is not as strong against Aaron as it might be against other decks.
That's not true.
Really? I mean, like
it's a little bit stronger than it is against typical Mono Black because Aaron has all these Abrupt Decays, which don't kill it.
At his hand, he has at least 1 Doomblade in his hand, so it's like
sure, like he boards in Doomblades.
Yep. There's a Tidebender Mage tapping the 3/3 as we mentioned earlier. Yep, and the Judge's Familiar goes away. Attack for 5. Drops
Aaron
down to 7.
He really needs like a Gray Merchant here.
If he gets a Gray Merchant, it's right back in this game.
He would need land Gray Merchant though. I don't think he has either of those
you
cards.
Don't think he has, yeah, you don't think he has a Gray Merchant in hand.
Aaron draws another Demon. I don't know if that's quite good enough. It's pretty good though.
If you play a Demon, he has to tap both of them.
He doesn't have to do anything.
I mean, he doesn't, but then he's going to have a much harder time getting through.
He could tap both of them and serve for 6, put Aaron to 1. It's pretty good. If he plays a creature from his hand,
if he plays
it
from
plus
his hand,
the
yeah, but I
Judge's
think he only
Familiar.
has 1 card in his hand.
Right. It could be a creature.
It could be.
What if it was a Cyclonic Rift? That'd be even better.
Oh, that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, because if it was Cyclonic Rift, he could bounce one demon, sag, tap the other,
and deal
serve 6, put him to 1,
put him to 1,
and then Aaron wouldn't be able to just replay his demon because he'd be dead on board.
He'd be dead. Because that's how 3 creatures work against 2 creatures.
That was a nice song. I liked it.
I wrote that for you, actually.
Did you,
in the shower this morning.
Did you ever try out for American Idol?
It was a long time ago. I don't like talking about it. They don't appreciate anything on that show. Here comes Demon.
They don't know talent.
They don't know talent.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, boy. That's
sorry for laughing, but...
No, that's... Yep. He's like, no, don't get those dice. Just shake my hand.
Yeah.
Just shake the hand.
Yeah.
We got it.
Very brutal finish to that. So that match was pretty quick, as expected.
Agreed.
Knowing that Ben Wienburg was playing the aggressive mono blue deck. So hopefully we have another match to cut over to.
Hopefully they're still playing. That'd be great.
They should be. Peter Tragos is playing Naya Control.
Yeah, we have
against
Jacob Medley versus Peter Tragos.
Against another like Naya mid-range
Interesting.
deck.
So 2 Naya decks. We didn't see one yesterday, and now they're playing against one another.
Lots of assemblable legions.
And here we go. We're there now, actually.
They're preparing for either game 2 or game 3.
Yeah, not sure. Looking at the life pads, it might be game.
It looks
3?
like game 2. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it looks like there were.
It could be game 3. Yeah. I can't really tell.
Yeah, maybe. It looks like the player on the right might be in game 3. The player on the left might be in game 2.
I think his pen is covering the.
It does.
The numbers. I think you're right that they are in game 3. So for all the marbles, what a fantastic shirt on the left. That SpongeBob, that neon one.
That I didn't even know what that was. I saw the colors and I was like, that is
pretty
insane.
Wild. Looks like he belongs in a rave or something.
It does. SpongeBob or the player?
Both.
Okay. SpongeBob rave.
So, who is advantaged in this matchup? They have a lot of the same cards.
Yeah, they both have Elspeths. They both have Xenagoses.
Loxodon Smiters.
Stormbreath Dragons. Is this the mirror match?
Kind of.
It looks like it.
Jacob Medley has his Symbols main. Peter Tragos, his list is more similar to what Yannick was playing on Moto and Brad Nelson.
Correct.
Top-aided the Invitational with.
Yeah.
I think Brad Nelson top-aided anyway.
The Invitational?
Yeah.
Brad Nelson won the Invitational.
Oh, yeah. He must have top-aided then.
Yeah, I feel like he did. I feel like he made it into the top 8 in order to do that.
Oh, no. Tragos' Assembles are main decked as well.
Yeah, Assemble is one of the best cards in that deck. I would be surprised if he took
He only has 2 Anger of the Gods main, whereas Jacob Medley has 4.
1 Advent of the Worm. The 1 Advent of the Worm seems fairly random.
But, I mean, if people aren't expecting it.
Gotcha.
Just like, gotcha.
Surprise worm.
Jacob Medley, on the other hand, has 3 Advents.
So we're leading off with
there are some
2
differences.
tap lands here, but this deck doesn't have the one I played this deck on Thursday, and one of the biggest things I've noticed is that it just doesn't have any early plays. Like you actually have no plays until turn 3, really. I mean, it looks like Peter Tragos has 4 Sylvan Caryatids, but that's kind of weird when you have. Oh, he only has 2 Anger of the Gods, so actually that makes it a little better.
And he's running 1 more Mizzium Mortars to kind of make up for that lack of a sweeper.
And it makes sense because actually Sylvan Caryatid will make it easier to cast for you too.
And he is just curving out.
There's a Smiter. Next turn's going to be a Xenagos.
It looks like our names here are incorrect. I believe that is Peter Tragos on the right and Jacob Medley on the left.
Correct. That seems like an accurate thing when because we know that Peter Tragos has the Sylvan Caryatids, so.
I also recognize his hands.
Nice.
We're in the Midwest. I've played with these guys a lot.
Those aren't Peter Tragos' hands. Whose hands are these?
Adrian Sullivan has just entered the building. Yeah, so Tragos is just curving out. Next turn he can play like an Elspeth or something, whereas Jacob has been stumbling on his land drops here. All right, looks like he's got his third
He's
land.
gonna shock himself.
Probably for a Celestial Key Rune of his own.
Nope. Smiter.
He plays a Smiter.
Smiter? I barely know her.
Oh God, that one again.
Good times.
It didn't get better.
It
did not age well.
Haters gonna hate, Caleb. Haters gonna hate.
This is true. 4 mana. We might see a Planeswalker here. Oh, that's a Perforos in his hand. Oh, I just saw Tragos' hand. Yeah, Smiter. I think the last card in his hand is Elspeth. So Perforos into Elspeth makes 3/1/1s. That could be really sick.
That's actually pretty good.
I think the main reason he didn't do it here is because if Jacob plays an Anger of the Gods to like clear all the 1/1s and the Caryatids and stuff,
one thing about this
the
deck,
Elspeth would be vulnerable.
Is that it's very unlikely that Perforos is ever a creature.
Bam.
Yeah, this might actually
I don't think Perforos needs to be a creature.
No,
this is 6 damage to the dome.
That's not why we're using that ability. That's not why we're using that card.
God. This is sickening to watch. I feel ill.
Take 6. Oh, also I have 3 1/1s. Also I have a 4/4.
And my Planeswalker ticks up.
And when you're behind this wall that Peter Tragos has, do you feel like there's any way you can actually kill this Elspeth if you're Jacob?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think there's a card in the deck. Like he's not playing like Dreadbores and stuff.
Right.
And he's already at 10. And the Perforos can like pump the tokens. Okay, there's an Anger of the Gods.
Yeah, that doesn't do it though. He still takes 6 next turn. Yeah, Jacobs also has 3 mana, which is
not enough. When your opponent is ticking up Elspeth and dealing 6 with Perforos.
Well, he's at 4. All he has to do is activate Elspeth next turn, and then he just wins.
This board state is pretty epic. We have a literal god interacting with a Planeswalker.
Right. Exactly.
Like we're supposedly Planeswalkers, right? Like that's the flavor of the game.
And the worst part is the god and the Planeswalker are on the same team.
Right.
You gotta feel pretty heavily favored if you're
Tragos. Pretty hard to lose from that point.
I think you prayed 1 extra time the night before, and it worked out for you.
Peter Tragos takes the mirror 2-1.
Oh, that third game was brutal.
Yeah. No, that was a stomping. That happens in Magic. Sometimes you just never play your 4th land.
Sometimes you just get beat down.